What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy afternoon, happy evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know I normally am not live for evening streams, but today was a very, very special day because today the Chicago Sky had their introductory press conference for 3 of their rookies. We had Aisha Coulibaly, we had Haley Van Lith, and Maddie Westbeld, who had their press conference. And I wanted to talk about it, not just that I want to talk about it. I actually wanted to just do a watch and talk. We're going to watch the entire press conference. We're going to talk through it. I'm going to give some commentary as we go through. But basically, there's just a lot of stuff I want to say about the Chicago Sky. As you all know, I am a Chicago Sky fan. I do have season tickets. I've had season tickets for years and years and years and years and years. And even though the price keeps upping, I keep giving them my money because I love the Chicago Sky. I want this team to be successful. And I am excited about the future of the Chicago Sky. And I wanted to make sure to talk about this press conference because last year, I would say the introductory press conference, it was done separately. Angel had one, Camilla had one, and the one for Angel, I made a video about it that, and I talked about how not so great last year's press conference was in terms of the way that the Chicago Sky did it. They had it in their gym, in their practice gym. This year they elevated. They were at the Sears Tower, aka the Willis Tower, which is I think what it's called now. They were there. So a nice facility to hold the press conference, the introductory press conference. I thought they learned some lessons from last year. So overall, I'm like, this is great, really, really great improvement. And I just want to go through the press conference. We're gonna go line by line. We're gonna talk through it all. And as we go through it, guys, let me know what you all are thinking in the chat. Now, again, guys, this is a surprise one, so I don't expect a lot of people to join us. But if you join it, make sure to hit that like button on your way in. All right, let's get ready for this watch and talk. All right, and the thing just to remember is that this press conference just is for it's just for 3 of the Chicago Sky's picks. All right. So their 10th pick in Aisha Sivka, she did not participate in this press conference. I'm not sure exactly what her status is. She was at draft night, but I'm not exactly sure if she plans on coming over to play for the Chicago Sky this year or if that's something that will be down the line. But we did hear from 3 of the players that the Chicago Sky drafted. So we'll do a watch and talk and go through it here. All right.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for attending. We're excited to welcome Haley Van Lith to the Chicago Sky. We'll open it up to media questions, starting with Julia.
Hi, Haley. Welcome to Chicago. I'm Julia Poe with the Chicago Tribune. Just first, kind of starting off, what kind of conversations have you had, if any, with the Sky going into the draft process, and what was that like on draft night?
Yeah, I had a few great conversations. Deep in my heart, I wanted to come to the Sky. I felt like just with the 2 quick conversations I had, I felt a ton of alignment, and I felt like they saw who I was as a player, and I felt valued. So, I was hoping that I was available when Chicago's picks came, and you never want to put too much expectation or hope because you never know what will happen on draft day. But deep in my heart, I was really hoping that.
When you talk about.
All right, I want to talk about this. So I'm going to talk through the press conference. And the reason why I'm smiling is because this is the exact response that you want to hear from a player that was drafted to your team. Now, y'all know that Mama is like the big Haley Van Lith fan and whatnot. But the fact that she, in her previous conversation with the Sky, from that, she took away that she wanted to be with the Chicago Sky. And the fact that she said that she was hoping that, the Chicago Sky ended up drafting her, like, that's big. That's really, really, really big. Now, could she just be saying that? Sure. She could. But I actually think she's being truthful here. I think she's being truthful in saying that the fact that she really wanted to be a Chicago Sky player. And as a Chicago Sky fan, this is fan-freaking-tastic to hear. Because that's what you want to hear. You want the players who got drafted to actually want to be there. And that's the theme that you're going to see. Haley, Aisha, Maddie Westbeld, all three of them talked about how they wanted to play for the Chicago Sky, and specifically how the conversations that they had with Sky management made it seem even more like they were going to be successful with the Chicago Sky. So let's continue on.
Them seeing you as a player, what kind of are those aspects of yourself that you felt like fit with the Sky?
Yeah, I think number one, they believed in the parts of my game that they think will translate to the league. And coming out of college, that's always the biggest question for players, is people always are talking about whether this will translate or that will translate, or she can be successful at this. And I just felt that they really believed in things that I do well, and not just skill set, but more mindset and personality. They really wanted someone that brought toughness, that was gritty, could fight. And, I like to think that those are character traits that, are displayed when I play. And so, again, I just felt a ton of alignment in what they were looking for and what I feel like I bring to the table. So I was very encouraged after I talked to them, and I couldn't have been more happy when my name was called.
Just real quick, I know. Let's just stop really quickly. But again, the theme of her talking about the Jeff and Tyler and their conversation with her, you're going to hear a very similar thing when Aisha and Maddie come up to the podium. They're going to see a very, very similar thing. So clearly, Jeff and Tyler are doing something right when it comes to communication and really just sharing their belief in these players, and how they can help to elevate Chicago Sky basketball. I think that's a great sign for the new head coach and the returning GM.
Last one for me. You're coming into a team that has a lot of vets at the guard position. Mm-hmm. What are you looking forward to with working with them? And have you had the chance to speak with any of them, specifically like Courtney, Ariel, some of those gals?
Yeah, I have spoke to both Courtney and Ariel. I think that I'm most excited because what those vets do really well are things that I'm looking to improve upon or really take advantage of learning from them, particularly with Courtney's overall court vision and the tempo that she plays at. I cannot wait to watch film with her, to just observe her in practices and pick her brain about how she controls games and controls the speed of games and gets her bigs and her shooting guards the ball when they need it to score. So I think that she's one in particular that I'm really, really excited just getting to be around.
I'm gonna just say this real quick. Courtney Vandersloot is one of the best point guards we have ever seen in the WNBA. And while she is with the Chicago Sky, yes, she came to the Sky to compete, right? She came to compete. She came to win some games. She came to a team expecting this team to be competitive. However, I do see a huge role for Courtney Vandersloot to do exactly what Haley was talking about. Basically, playing her game, but also teaching Haley on ways that she can see the court better, right? We all know that at times is something that Haley struggled with. Like at LSU, got a lot better at TCU for sure. But court vision is a thing that takes a while to learn. And Haley is still learning, so she might as well learn from one of the best to ever do it in Courtney Vandersloot. I'm telling you. And I'm excited because if some of Courtney's knowledge can go to Hailey Van Lith as a rookie, I think we may be cooking with some gas. Okay, I think we may be cooking with some gas for Chicago.
Hi, Haley. Chris with Fox Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
What's the last month been like for you, especially going the Elite Eight run to draft night to today? What's that been like for you?
It has. I was telling someone the other day. It kind of feels like how the Olympics felt. It's like a huge sprint, and there's so many things going on, and you don't really know what's going on. But then when you look back, you're like, wow, that was incredible. It's kind of the same vibe. But I've been just trying my best, especially, when we were in New York for the draft experience, trying to stay present because I only get one of those in my whole career. And I've been trying my best. That I won't lie, there's not a lot of schoolwork getting done right now. Sorry to my professors, but I've just been trying to soak it all in, and because this is really the last little bit that I get to sit back and enjoy before it gets real quick with training camp coming up. So it's been crazy, but it's a blessing to be in this position, and I'm super grateful.
You mentioned the Olympics too, not only the college experiences that you've had, but winning a lot of basketball everywhere. What does that mean, or what can that bring to the WNBA for you?
Yeah, I think my Olympics 3-on-3 experience in particular, just trying out for that team was a huge confidence builder for me, knowing that I was coming to the league next year, because I was trying out against WNBA All-Stars. There was a lot of elite WNBA talent at that tryout, and I proved that I could fit into that roster, and they selected me. Like, they handpicked me to be on that team. And so that was a huge confidence builder. But also, I think that my role on that team was huge for setting me up for what my rookie season will be like, because we had Ryan Howard, we had De'Erica Hamby, we had people who are very established in the league. And so it was my job to help them be really successful. And when the team needed me to contribute and score and make tough plays, rebound, get stops on defense. So I felt like I really used that experience to learn, okay, this is how I set my big time players up. And then this is where I fit in, where I can steal a layup, or I can go one-on-one here because there's spacing. So I think that experience will be very helpful for me going into my rookie year.
Just real quick on this, I have to say that I know there was some controversy at the time about Hailey Van Lith and her making the team and whatnot. I know people had a lot of stuff that they wanted to say about it, but let me say this. I think that 3-on-3 or 3x3 Olympic experience that Hailey had, it really helped to prepare her for TCU. And I feel like part of the reason why Hailey had such a great season with TCU is because she had that experience with 3x3. Because on 3x3, like, literally, and we said it as with Unrivaled, all will be exposed. All was exposed with 3x3. You had to be quicker, right? You had to be quicker. You had to know how to set quick screens, get to the paint, cut. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you had to do quick, fast, and in a hurry when it comes to 3x3. And because Hailey was still trying to figure out the point guard type of role, I really do think that her being on that 3x3 team, now, while that may have been controversial about her being on the team, I think that was a huge unlock for her to have such a great season in TCU. Now, yes, TCU was a great location for her, absolutely. But I don't put all of Hailey's success on to Mark Campbell. I don't. I think he was great. I think he's a fabulous coach. I think he was able to unlock some more stuff for Hailey Van Lith. However, I really do think that the 3x3 experience that she had required allowed her to soar as much as she was able to this past season, even though I feel like a lot of times people don't really talk about that at all. But yeah, that's a thing. All right. Oh, he's saying Haley should start? Oh. I don't know how people expect Haley to start. I don't see it at all. You literally have Courtney Vandersloot. Why would Courtney Vandersloot put a back seat? Why would she be in the back seat to Hailey Van Lith, especially early on? I don't think that makes any sense. I don't know what people are saying because I don't actually I don't know. But if people are saying that, I don't see it at all. To me, the starting lineup that you got is Courtney Vandersloot. As your starting point guard, because of course it's freaking Courtney Vandersloot. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people, because certain players are not in the headlines and whatnot, I think sometimes people don't think they're that good. But I mean, dog, it's freaking Courtney Vandersloot. Of course she's going to start. Unless she gets hurt or something, unless something terrible happens. Yeah, she's the starting point guard for this squad. And I don't see that changing at all. Ariel Atkins is your starting shooting guard, in my opinion. Now, at that 3 position, you kind of got a lot of wiggle room. We got a lot of wiggle room when it comes to that 3 position. I could see Michaela Onyenwere in that position. I could see Rachel Banham in that position. I could see Kia Nurse in that. There's a lot of that 3 position is a little bit murky, in my opinion. You can kind of try a lot of stuff with that. All right. And then I would say your 4, of course, is Angel. Your 5 is Camilla. Though at times, if you wanted to try to expand Angel's game a little bit, maybe you try some action where not as a starting unit, but maybe you try some action during games, like in the 3rd quarter or something like that of games, where it's like, hey, put out Elizabeth Williams, Camilla, and Angel. Now that would be, from a shooting perspective, that would be a little bit of a struggle bus of a combination. However, I think that might be kind of fun. I think that might be kind of fun. All right. But hey, we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't see it at all with Hailey Van Lith starting. Because why? To me, also, that's way too much added pressure on Hailey. I don't think they need to do that. No. Here's the thing, Naja, Michaela proved herself last year. Michaela proved herself. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if she just fully owns that three position. I wouldn't be shocked at all. Yes, G, I agree. Let Hailey come off the bench. Let her learn from Courtney Vandersloot for that point guard position. Though I do think Hailey should play a significant amount of minutes as a shooting guard for the Chicago Sky. As a shooting guard. All right. Now, yes, she's short, so eventually she has to be a point guard for this team. However, I do think that that playing her in that sort of combo point guard / shooting guard role off the bench makes a lot of sense to me. Until she gets more experience and whatnot, and then maybe she can either fully go into that point guard position full time, or if you're seeing that she's actually rocking out at that shooting guard position, then maybe you leave her there and have her do that. But either way, I don't see her starting unless injuries happen. If injuries happen, then yeah, sure. But if no injuries happen, I don't see it. But we'll see. Luis, yeah, Courtney Vandersloot still has it. She still has it for sure. Okay, let's continue on. Again, Put your comments in the chat, and I'll try to put it up on the big screen as we are listening through. And again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. This is an impromptu stream. I just wanted to go through the press conference for the Chicago Sky. They did welcome in 3 of their rookies. Sivka is not here, at least was not at the press conference earlier today. But yeah, anyway, let's continue on.
Hi, Haley. Andy Diedrich on your Daily News. Welcome to Chicago again. You were a 5-year starter in college, leader of multiple different teams. This time you're going into a team that has notable roster turnover and a new head coach. What's the transition mentally for you to go from one role to kind of this new role that you're stepping into?
Yeah, I mean, I've been transitioning a lot my last couple years in my career. I'm not new to having to learn a new system and new coaching staff and new teammates. That's one good thing about my unique career is I'm very well experienced with change. So I'm going to approach this change like I've been approaching the last ones and get a feel for what this team needs from me to help be successful and help win games. I think at the end of the day, universally, my mindset going into any team is how can I help this team win? So I'll figure that out very quick, I'm assuming. And I know that the coaches will do their best to help me figure that out as well. And I think I have great vets that are going to be more than willing to help me in every way that they can. So it's obviously hard. Everyone says that the jump from college to the WNBA is way harder than anyone thinks going into it. So I fully expect it to be hard, but I also want to have confidence in the fact that I'm experienced with, new environments.
Yeah, you talk about.
And real quick, one thing we know for sure is her teammates, her vet teammates, they're going to look out for her. Okay. If injuries has anything to do with it, Hailey Van Lith and the rest of these rookies are going to be treated really well. They're going to be mentored. And ultimately, I think that the Chicago Sky will create a system and a sort of culture around this squad that, like, hey, it's going to make sure that these rookies are as successful as they possibly can be. So it's not going to be all on Hailey because she's going to have her teammates that's going to have her back. They're going to be with her the whole way, and they're going to rock out for that from there. So yeah, I'm not worried on that front because I think Hailey has some really good vet teammates for sure.
With those veterans that you've had conversations with, but also at the same time, you get to play with your former teammate Angel Reese as well as Camila Cardoso, 2 college basketball legends. What's exciting about the prospect of getting to play with a young front court that's that big and that talented?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing with size. It makes my job a lot easier. I think, it's a different environment than when I played with Angel the first time, but I think that's all good things. And we're both different players than we were when we played with each other, but again, probably good things. So I can't wait to get to play with Angel and Camila. I've played against Camila a lot of times. I've never got to play with her. So I'm excited to be on the receiving end of that and not have to play against her anymore. But yeah, I think that will add like a youthful flair, some fun energy, and I think it'll be a great time.
Thanks, Haley.
Yeah, I think it'll be an awesome time. I think there's truly the influx of young talent that the Chicago Sky has been bringing in. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really, really, really good. And the great thing is at this point you have your 2 posts of the future. And it seems like they're hoping that Sivka So here's the thing: the pronunciation that the Chicago Sky gave for Sivka is Sivka. Now this is gonna be a fun. Let's do this together, okay? Because I've seen a lot of people pronounce this lady's name wrong, and I'm like, okay, well, am I wrong, or like is everybody else wrong? Like, let's talk through this together, because the pronouncer that the Chicago Sky has given, the way it seems like it's pronounced to me is Aisha Sivka. That seems like the pronunciation. But a lot of people are saying Aisha Sivka because it looks like Sivka. But look, okay, this is the Chicago Sky's press release. Hopefully, can y'all see this? Okay, y'all can see this. Okay, just real quick, humor me on this, and we're gonna move back to the press conference. Okay. All right. Do y'all see what I just highlighted? Do y'all see what I just highlighted? It looks like Aisha Sivka. That's what it looks like. I have heard a think it was a EuroLeague broadcast or some sort of European broadcast where they were talking about Sivka, and they were saying Aisha Sivka. And it seemed like everybody else have been saying Sivka, and I've been told that I'm wrong in my pronunciation of this lady's name. So I'm like, okay, well, is the Sky wrong? I don't think the Sky would be wrong putting out the wrong pronunciation for her thing. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway. That has nothing to do with our conversation. It's just that it seems like the pronunciation for her name is Aisha Sivka. I will pronounce it as that. And if you think that's a wrong pronunciation, talk to the Chicago Sky, because that's what they put out. Okay? Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm excited to see. Ultimately, I am very, very much excited to see Haley play with Angel and Camilla. I think it's going to be really, really fun. Really, really fun. All right, let's continue on.
Hi, Haley. Congratulations again. Welcome to Chicago. Christian Conway, Winsider. So you mentioned that you played with Angel before at LSU, and I know a lot of people want to know, what do you think is going to be the biggest difference between you guys playing at LSU and now playing together on the Chicago Sky?
Yeah, I can't speak to what will necessarily be different with her. I think I can speak to what will be different with me is that the WNBA provides a lot of spacing, and I think that we have a very unique roster where that will be the case when we're on the floor. Anytime that I am able to play in space with very, very talented bigs, very, very talented guards around me, I think, that's when I'm able to do my job best. So I'm really, really looking forward for the chance to play with Angel in this new system and see how it goes. I think that will be, even more impactful than we were when we played with each other in college.
And then just to follow up, what is the best advice you received thus far from Angel or any of the vets to prepare you for training camp?
Best advice to be in shape, probably. As long as you're in shape, you can take the bumps and the bruises as they come. But if you're gassed, that's a hard place to be in training camp. So my one goal is to be in the best shape that I can.
Thank you.
Be in shape. That's going to be huge. That's going to be absolutely huge. A thing to note, guys, if you are not sure, training camp. So the WNBA draft, it happened. It's done with. That happened on April the 14th. The training camp for the various teams officially began on April the 27th. So April the 27th is when training camp officially begins. All right. And so you already see right now that there are some players who are already in their respective cities. They're already doing workouts with the coaches and whatnot. But everything officially starts on April the 27th. So she has 10 days to make sure she is in the best shape of her life, because we about to see what she can do in WNBA training camp. Again, training camp starts on April the 27th, and the regular season actually starts on May the 16th. Okay? Those are the dates. All right, let's continue on.
Haley.
We'll go to Jason on Zoom. Please unmute.
Hi, Haley. Jason Leisure with the Chicago Sun-Times. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you mentioned needing to be in shape and ready for training camp, which starts soon. How do you do that coming off a season of playing 40 games and not having a lot of time in between to recover?
Yeah, I think another part of my game that my 3-on-3 experience really helps with is knowing how to get yourself in shape and how to stay in shape. 3-on-3 is the ultimate beast of you have to be in shape. And so I've had a lot of experience with preparing to play 3-on-3, and obviously I need to rest and make sure I'm healthy coming off of a long season where we did make a great run. But that's my job as a player to handle and to communicate with the people that are helping me prepare, is let them know when I feel like I'm ready. And at this point, I feel like I'm ready to begin. So I'm going to definitely use my experience with preparing for 3-on-3 to supplement conditioning and combine skill set with conditioning to be at my optimal shape coming into training camp.
Again, as I said before, 3x3 exposes a lot, and it exposes whether or not you're in shape. And I do think her having that experience does kind of help her. I do see a question here. I do want to get to it. Tulip is asking, Quita, are you concerned that Jeff drafted players who struggle on defense? Most GMs go for 3 and D. He went for 3 only. No. I'm not. Mainly because Aisha Coulibaly, I think she's a pretty good defender. I would say, though she's likely not going to play this year because of her injury. She's just going to pretty much rehab. I would say Maddie Westbeld is a pretty decent post defender as well. I don't know about Aisha Sivka. I don't know how she is on defense. I'm not sure at all. The only highlights I've seen of her is her on offense. I have not really seen her play any defense. So I'm not sure about her defensive skills. And Haley, we know that she's not the best defender. However, you do have a fantastic defender that just joined your squad, right? In Ariel Atkins. And so, I think, and then you also have other players who play some defense. So I'm not crazy worried. But it definitely is something you need to keep an eye out on, because Haley's going to have to get a whole lot better defensive-wise, a whole lot better to get to where she needs to get to. All right. JB says, completely agree. 3v3 literally forces you to be in shape. If you're not in shape, you won't be effective, and it will show. Yeah. All will be exposed. Anyway, let's continue on.
Carly Bell on Zoom, please unmute.
Hi, Haley. This is Carly Bell with Courtside with Carly Bell. Welcome to the city of Chicago. I know everyone has talked to you about playing with Angel Reese, but obviously, as you said, you guys have grown exponentially, just in the 2 years. Just when you look back on that time that you did play with Angel, what are things about your game that you have either grown in or expanded that you believe can translate to the W seamlessly?
Yeah, I think number one, the style of play that I've become comfortable with as a point guard has improved a lot. I've really found, especially towards the end of this season, I found a great balance of what playing the point guard looks for me, because I am not a, traditional pass first point guard. That's not how I can help a team best. But I've figured out a balance of how I can be, most efficient, most effective with distributing, facilitating, scoring, pushing tempo, being a leader, all those things that a point guard has to do. I think I'm in a great rhythm and in a great stride of what that looks like for me, for Haley Van Lith. I don't want to try to copy anyone else that's in the league, but I also, I don't want to try to rewrite the script. I want to be in the middle where I'm learning from people, but I'm also very comfortable with what I bring to the table. So I think just number one, the most that I've grown from my season at LSU is like knowing fully what Haley Van Lith as a point guard looks like.
And that does a lot. All right. That absolutely does a lot. Hailey Van Lith has accepted the fact that she is not a traditional point guard. She's not. And instead of forcing herself into something, instead of forcing herself into a pass first type of role, instead of forcing herself into being something that she's not, she accepts that the type of point guard that she is. And I think that is going to help her in the future, because in the WNBA, there are some point guards who are very, very successful who are not pass first. You don't have to be a pass first point guard to be successful. What you have to do is to learn your role on a team and look for your shot, but also when players are open, give them the basketball and give them a nice angle when you give them the basketball. Like there's certain stuff that you have to do, and I felt like with LSU, Hailey was trying to force herself into being a certain type of point guard, and it's just not how you are. It's just not who. It's not how your game flows, and it seems like she has acknowledged that, understood that, and it seems like she is going to play within herself, not playing a style of basketball that other people expect her to or want her to. She's gonna do it her own way, and it's not gonna be a pass first point guard type of way. And I think that's fine. Ultimately, I think that is fine. We'll kind of see how her style looks as the season starts. JB says like and subscribe, y'all. Yeah, if you could, that would be really, really awesome. Smoke Jr. says, Quita, did I just hear you say you're not concerned about the players' lack of defense? This is the Sky, not that other team, LOL. So here's the deal. The question was about defense, and I said that I don't know about Sivka. I don't know what type of defensive player she is. I do know that Aisha Coulibaly is a good defender. I do know that Maddie Westbeld is a pretty good post defender. Hailey Van Lith is not that great of a defender. Okay? She's not. We know that. Again, I don't know about Sivka. My point is that there is a good amount of defense already on this team, and I am not mad that the Chicago Sky picked someone who is not as great defensively that we know about. Again, I don't know about Sivka, but that we know about for Hailey. There is a lot of defense on this team already, and I think that they're going to be able to teach her how to play some better defense. And if she can't do it, she's going right on the bench. Or she's going to stay on the bench, and Tyler Marsh is going to ride with players who will play some defense. So I don't think the Sky are hurting for defense. I think this is a team that is hurting for offense. Okay? Defense, I think the Sky have defense. So, yeah.
And then to kind of follow up on that, we obviously know what you can do offensively, but your defensive game, especially on ball pressure, is something that we really saw this last season at TCU. Defense is something that's really vital in the WNBA. So what are some things that you've just seen in the defensive game in the WNBA that you will either need to grow, expand, or that your defensive game can already bring to this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'm starting to get the hang of, but I need to continue to get better at and grow for the league is just with my size. I am smaller. I need to win the low battle every time. Anytime someone's putting the ball on the floor, anytime someone's going for a pickup, my hands need to be around, making them uncomfortable, trying to get strips, anything to disrupt rhythm. I have to win the low game, whether that's when a big does get a rebound over me and they bring it down for a second, can I tie them up? When someone is coming off a pick and roll and they try to put me in jail, can I get around and pick them from behind on the low side? So continuing to get better at winning the low game is going to be huge for improvement and impactfulness for me in the league. But one thing I think that I'm prepared for on the defensive end already is I'm a physical player. I know how to harness my physicality due to my smaller size. I'm very comfortable with the physical style of play. I think you can see that in how I play in college, and also, with how well my game translates to 3-on-3, just how physical that style of play is. I'm very comfortable in that environment, and I intend to use my physicality to help even things out anytime I'm at a size disadvantage. So that's kind of my defensive approach.
Isn't that right on cue? Isn't that right on cue about Haley? That is right on cue, right on cue. A quick announcement for the channel. Guys, please listen to Kentucky Rick. Kentucky Rick says, please no all caps chat. It can trigger the algorithm and not recommend the stream. Yes, please listen to Kentucky Rick. Shout out to Kentucky Rick for being the mod for this stream. Really do appreciate you. But again, post whatever you want to post. Just try your best. Try your best not to put all caps. That's all. Just try your best. Thank you. All right. Again, we were just talking about her defense. And look, she talks about her defense. I like the fact that she understands, and she's very self-aware about her game, her limitations, and what she needs to work on. I think that's huge, because there are times where players come in the league and they think that they kind of got it. They don't really pay that much attention to their weaknesses, and it just sort of glosses over it. No, you heard how she went into detail about what she needs to work on, and how she needs to have way more active hands so she doesn't get beat early, right? The fact that she talks about the physicality of the game and all that stuff, like, it's clear that she knows that in order for her to have a successful WNBA career, in order for her to even make a roster spot, because just because you got drafted in the first round does not mean you're going to make the roster, all right? And, I'm sure, people in Haley's camp has probably told her, hey, yeah, you got drafted number 11, whoop-de-doo, that's very exciting, but at the same time, you might not make a roster. You have to show up, and you have to work on the things that you're not good at, all right? That means acknowledging the type of point guard that you are. That means acknowledging your weakness on defense, and basically being like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on that, and I know the things that I need to do. So I'm just saying. Keena says this was a good press conference for Hailey Van Lith. It was. This was a great press conference, and I tell you, for a bit skeptical, and I was a bit skeptical. I am a skeptical fan when it came to the Sky's decision to pick up Hailey Van Lith, but I'm gonna just say, like, where her head is at is perfect. It absolutely is. And I love it. So, like, this press conference, to me, as a skeptical fan, Mama already was a huge fan. Mama is already very excited. Mama is getting her jersey for Hailey Van Lith. Like, she's very excited about it. But I was very skeptical. I still am to a certain extent, but I thought the way that she handled herself in this press conference was absolutely fantastic. It really was. It really, really was.
We have time for two more on Zoom. We'll go Steven, then Alyssa. One apiece, please.
Hey, Haley. Welcome to Chicago. Steven Prejean Gardner, CHGO Sports. I have a kind of two-part question for you, so bear with me on it. You bet on yourself going to TCU for your final season. I'm curious, what was it about Mark Campbell's program that prepared you for this specific moment? And then the second part of that, you credited Derek Grant for the off-the-court work and the mental side of things that you've harnessed coming up in the social media age. Can you speak to the value that brings for an athlete and having that balance of on the court and off the court mentally?
Yeah. To your first question, I think the biggest thing that, piqued my interest with TCU and Coach Campbell was he runs a pro style offense. He's turned out a lot of pro players that are very successful. Number one being Sabrina Ionescu, who, like me, is not the most athletic person in the room. So I think knowing that he has helped someone exponentially already become successful in the league.
Hold up. Oh, we can't just get past that. The way she said that, y'all, was hilarious. Like we all know, and she stated the obvious that Sabrina is not the most athletic player in the room. It was just the way she said it was pretty funny. I don't know, the way she said that was hilarious, but it's true. This is not a shade given to Sabrina. That's not what this is. It's the truth. It's the truth. It is absolutely the truth. And I love it. Again, this makes Haley seem just super, super likable. W. Bazil says Haley Van Lith is self-deprecating. Yeah. And people like that. People like that. Okay? I just thought this was a hilarious moment, so I had to just stop it real quick. Let's replay that moment. let's Sierra says, I want a reaction video from Sabrina. I think she laughed. I think she laughed too. Like I don't think this is a negative shots fired type of thing. Though we may see some YouTube videos tomorrow that's talking about Haley Van Lith has insulted Sabrina Ionescu. I'm pretty sure we will see that. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some commentary around that. But this is just Haley being real, and people like that. Okay, and I'm pretty sure Sabrina would probably agree because Sabrina is not the most athletic. She isn't. And that's okay. You see how successful she is without that? I'm just saying. Anyway, let's continue on.
Knowing that he has helped someone exponentially already become successful in the league, I found a lot of confidence in that room. Who, like me, a lot of pro players that are very successful. Number one being Sabrina Ionescu, who, like me, is not the most athletic person in the room. So I think knowing that he has helped someone exponentially already become successful in the league, I found a lot of confidence in that. And he showed me the blueprint of what they were planning to do with this team and what he thought my role was going to be. That role was a lot of playing point guard. And that's what I knew that I needed. I knew that to be, very impactful and to reach my potential at the next level, I had to become more comfortable at the one than I was at the two. Mm-hmm. And so I just was really excited for the opportunity that his offense, posed to me of what my role would be. And the players that we had around, we had spacing, I had shooters, I had an elite big who could play in the midi and at the rim. So just the personnel and the offensive structure was the closest I could get to a pro style offense. So that's really what I was super intrigued by with TCU and Coach Campbell. And I think it worked out very well for us. And then moving on to Derek Grant, I think he has been so monumental for my game and me being able to be consistent. I think a lot of athletes ride the highs and the lows that media and social media and the public eye caused us to go through. And that was me for a long time. When I was up here, nobody could tell me nothing and I was hooping. But then the next game I could be down here and you would have looked at me and thought I was a completely different girl. And I was tired. I was tired of it. I was tired of being inconsistent. I was tired of playing good half the season and then playing well below what I was capable the other half. And so I realized that it was all mental and I needed to work with someone who could help me. I couldn't help myself on my own. I was too young. I didn't have the right perspective yet. And so Derek has helped me become more self-aware, helped me accept myself more, helped me learn to navigate when I feel myself wanting to go into the highs and the lows. So he's been huge for me personally. And I would suggest every athlete, no matter what sport you're in, no matter what age you are, to work with somebody who is like a sports psychologist, because it just, number one, you just get to know yourself more and you learn to appreciate your journey instead of always looking on the outside for what the next thing is. So I highly recommend every young athlete, accepting help to work on the mental side.
I just have to say, again, that's huge. There have been so many athletes, so many women's basketball players in particular, that have talked about the mental side of things, and how when they were able to, sort of get their mental health right, it sort of unlocked something in their game itself. Like, you all may remember, AZ Fudd talked about it earlier this past season that just ended. She talked about how working with someone kind of helped her unlock her game a little bit more, and to thrive. The reason why AZ Fudd ended up having a really, really good season is because she was talking to someone. She was working with someone behind the scenes that sort of helped her to get her mind right. And for AZ, I think some of that was like, her worry about getting injured again and all that stuff. But like, mental health is like a legit thing. And I think a lot of athletes like should definitely be talking to someone. Absolutely be talking to someone, because, especially with social media and the way that things can happen online. Like you just played a game, well, you gave it all you got, and then you go online and you see people dragging you, and not just saying you played a bad game, but like actually like dragging you for filth, and then you're just like, what the heck? And then now you're really low. Your self-esteem is down. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, not just specifically about your play on the court, but also the way that other people react to your play. And I really do think that that talking to a sports psychologist, talking to someone, really, really does help. It really does help, especially for these athletes that are just, everything they do is in public, right? Everything they say is in public, will be dissected, and will be intentionally skewed certain ways and whatnot. And you have to be able to deal with that. And sometimes talking to someone is a great way to do that. All right. Talking to someone is a great way to do that. Maybe it's your pastor at church. Maybe it's a psychologist, like, whatever that is, But I do think that there's a lot of athletes that are very vocal about the mental health aspect. And I think we're going to continue to see that as time goes on, because, the idea of suck it up, buttercup, it's not flying anymore, right? It's a new day. It's a new day, and people are way more accepting of help from others. Brian, thanks so much for the super chat. Says, in Jeff Pagliacca, I trust. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, Brian is trusting in Jeff Pagliacca. We gonna see. Hey, man, the jury's still out a little bit. The jury is still out. Josh says it's so funny because Hailey Van Lith jersey just went live. Y'all could buy your jerseys. Really? That is exciting. Well, I know what I'm about to do after the stream is over. I am about to buy Hailey's jersey because Mama needs a jersey. If y'all watched the post draft stream, y'all know all about Mama and her excitement to get a jersey. Okay, very, very excited. Okay, where was that placed at? Is that on the Chicago Sky site? It is. You can pick up the number 2 Hailey Van Lith jersey. Okay. So after the stream, I'm calling Mama because I need to figure out what jersey she would like. Okay. What color? They got the blue version and the black version. All right. Well, thank you for letting me know. Thank you, Josh, for letting me know. Because I'm about to order Mama jersey after the stream is over. I'm gonna call her, see whatever jersey she would like. Kiki says, Quita, did you see Malaysia finally wrote her exit thank you letter? Yeah, I did. I saw that. Shout out to the folks who tagged me on Instagram for it. Because it's funny because this morning we was talking about in the live stream, talking about us not seeing the jersey, or not seeing the, see, now I'm mixed up on the topic. Us not seeing the letter from Malaysia, and then a couple hours later, she put out her letter thanking the awesome people South Carolina for rocking with her throughout these years, and how she is ready to move on to the next part of her journey. All right, thank you so much, Mai. Wow, salute to you, Mai, for the super chat. Says, no notes, just appreciating your overtime work for the awesome people of the internet. Okay, you're also very much helping me avoid the geopolitical craziness. Yeah, here's the thing. Here is the thing. On this channel, if there's stuff going on in the world and all this other stuff that you just like, I just can't. I don't want to hear about politics. I don't want to hear about this and about that. Well, rock out with this channel, because we ain't doing none of that. Okay, we go give you some easy listening as we talk about the game of women's basketball. Okay, all right, and I appreciate y'all for rocking with me again. There's a lot of stuff going on, and be informed, but at the same time, don't let it take over your life. Hey, nah. That's why I love women's basketball. Sports in general is like the best distraction. It really is. It really, really, really is. Where it's just like, nah, it's not about none but the sport itself. Nothing. It's nothing going on but just hoops, straight up hoops. And of course, yeah, sure, there's politics in sports as well, but for the most part, I try to avoid that also. Just talk about the hoops. For good or for bad. Anyway, let's continue on with Haley's press conference.
Alyssa, go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Haley. I'm wondering how you define a good coach and what you're looking for from the Chicago coaching staff at this point in your career.
Oh, how do you find a good coach? For me, I think a good coach is one, somebody who can bring something out of you that you necessarily don't see in yourself. But also, I love to play for mature coaches, for coaches that are also self-aware. For me, somebody who's working on a journey of spirituality and learning who I am and being self-aware, I very much appreciate a coach who also, holds those capabilities. So number one, a great coach is somebody who can win, but who also can get the most potential out of their players to help the team win. And I think what I'm most excited about with the Chicago Sky staff, like I said earlier, is they were already believers in what I brought to the table, and not even necessarily about skill set and all that, but the mindset and who I am, who my DNA is, like who I show up as every day as a person. They were 10 toes behind that from the first conversation we had. And for someone like me who, personal connection and relationships can go a long way, that meant a lot. And they're really excited about their player development, and that's right up my alley too. I love to get in the gym and work hard, and I really do think that I'm going to get a lot better playing under the Chicago Sky staff. And that's all I could ask for, is an opportunity, an organization that believes in me, but also knows what I can get better at and is going to put all their effort behind getting me there. And so I think it's going to be a great fit, and I really can't wait till I get cleared and am able to get to work with them.
Thank you.
The get cleared thing, I'm not exactly sure what she has to get cleared for, but the fact that she's excited to work with this coaching staff, I think is huge. Number one, Tyler Marsh is a fan-freaking-tastic coach. Now, we don't know exactly how he's going to be as a head coach, but as an assistant coach, he was fantastic. And he is probably the main coach that's credited with the unlock of Jackie Young. Y'all remember when Jackie Young was of course, number one pick, she was good, but she went up. It was one summer where Jackie Young just started dominating. She started knocking down threes. She became a shooter. And her overall game just severely improved. A huge credit to that was Tyler Marsh. Even when we hear about some of the Aces players talk about Tyler Marsh and talk about his development and whatnot, it seems like he is a great coach. And I absolutely cannot wait to see what he does with this rookie class, what he does with the players who are already on the Chicago Sky, because I really do think that we will see a lot of development for Hailey Van Lith and her overall game, for sure.
Thanks, Hailey. Good luck.
Again.
I'm good?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
She'll be in just a few moments.
All right, so that was Haley and what she had to say in her portion of the press conference. Now we will have Aisha Coulibaly and Maddie Westbeld join.
Welcome, Aisha Coulibaly and Maddie Westbeld to the Chicago Sky. We'll open up to questions for the media. We'll start with Julia Poe.
Hey guys, welcome to Chicago. Julia Pope, the Chicago Tribune. Same thing that I asked Haley. I was just wondering if both of you could kind of take us through what conversations, if any, you had pre-draft with this guy, and then just kind of what your draft night experience was like being drafted here.
Yeah, so I had my first conversation with Tyler and Jeff last week, and we had a short Zoom call, but you really felt the energy within the Zoom call, and just how personable they were. Kind of like Haley said, you didn't really have to prove who you were as a person or who you were as a player. It was like a natural, I believe in you. And that's really all that I could ask for. And I think since then it was just like, I sincerely hope that I get to be a part of an organization who believes in you from the start, and you don't necessarily have to prove that. And so I'm so blessed to be here and so grateful for this opportunity. From draft night, it was a very emotional, very, just exciting opportunity. I was at home with my family. We ended up having kind of a big draft party, so I was able to be in front of my friends, all my family, old high school teammates, just a very full circle moment to be with the people that I love the most. And so for me, it was just, I couldn't ask for anything better for a night as big as that was to, see my dream come true.
Mm-hmm. Hi. Just to piggyback up on what she said, I had a couple conversations with some teams, but this was the best conversation I had, and I felt comfortable right away, and just them believing in me because of who I am and what I do on the court, and just watching me throughout the year. I just felt comfortable. I told Jeff, I felt like I've known you for 10 years. The conversation was that good. And I just feel like being around people like that, and that's what brings the best out of me. And I'm so grateful to be here and be part of this franchise. And I'm so glad that I came here, and I can't wait to see what's next. And from the job, I just watch it with my teammates and my coaches. They drag me out of bed, and we just, watch it. It was an amazing feeling. And I'm so glad that I got to do it with the people that are close to me.
I know.
Just real quick. One tidbit. Does anyone else hear a little bit of Camila Cardoso in Aisha Coulibaly when she talks? Does anyone just hear a little bit of Camila? Just like the tone of and actually a little bit of the cadence as well. Is it just me? Because when I was listening to this earlier, I was like, man, she does, like, her voice cadence and whatnot does kind of have, like, the tone and the cadence, it does kind of give like Camila vibes. Maybe I'm just the only one. But one thing you all will notice is that what they said was very similar to what Haley said in terms of the coaching staff believing in them and talking to them and kind of like making them feel wanted, right? All right, so some of y'all, okay. All right, Omega Khan is saying yes. Family First is saying no. JB is saying definitely. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I do hear a little bit of Camila. Like I do, just like a very, very little bit. Like here, maybe. You know what? This is the evening. We gonna do a quick segue. I just want to play a. I want to play a Camila interview because I don't know, like I just feel like there is a little bit there, but maybe it's just me. I want to listen to Camila say something, and we just gonna rock out from there, okay?
First question.
All right, so I'm gonna pull up Camila's introductory press conference like a long time ago. But I don't know. It's just a little bit. So we're gonna play it back to back, and y'all gonna tell me, okay? Maybe I'm crazy. It could be that I'm just crazy. I don't know. But this was Camila's introductory press conference again. So you see like the vast difference between last year and this year. Anyway,
my question for you just is about Dawn and the South Carolina program. How has she prepared you to really make an impact in the WNBA right away?
Oh, wait, where's the sound?
And we just know Shop's going to get us prepared for the next level.
And then
Looking at some of the...
Oh.
Can you speak?
Definitely say those two things.
Okay. And then my quick follow-up for you.
By making me better each and every day. And out of the court, it's just like a business, you know, it's cool stuff, like fashion and stuff like that. So.
You're coming off.
Just watching with my teammates and my coaches, they drag me out of bed, and we just, watch. It was an amazing feeling, and I'm so glad that I got to do it with the people that are close.
Okay, so I just played both. I can hear it. I can hear just a little. I am not saying they sound exactly alike. That's not what I'm saying. But there is a little bit of similarity in their voice, a little bit. Like, just a little bit. So I played them back to back. Yeah, for sure. Camilla's accent is stronger. But I'm just like, there's not a little bit? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I am going insane in the membrane. But yeah. I don't know. There is a smidge of like just something that just is similar. Anyway, let's get on to what Aisha and Maddie are actually saying. Because Tamika says there's something there. I think also the content of what they said. Yeah. It could be their cadence. I don't know. Just something is just similar. Not the same. It's not what I'm saying. So don't be like Quita was saying Camilla and Aisha sound exactly alike. They're not. They don't sound exactly alike. That's not what I'm saying. But there is a little similarity. And maybe it's just me. Maybe my ears are very, very similar. Very sensitive. I don't know. Anyway. Let's get to what they're saying. But again, the fact that they're basically highlighting exactly what Haley said in terms of them feeling like the Chicago Sky had their back from the first conversation, and how it felt like the Chicago Sky believed in them. So yeah. Anyway.
Close to me.
I know you're coming off of a knee injury. Can you kind of walk us through where you're at in terms of rehab and what the expectation looks like for you, given that you are kind of in the middle of that process?
The recovery is going really well. I already had surgery, and then just keep working on what I have to do, and just keep the main thing, and stay focused and getting strong, and just working on the thing I need to work on, and just be ready for next season whenever I'm ready to go, and I'm excited for it.
Last one for me, Maddie. Jeff has talked a lot about wanting to kind of bring this different version of kind of like a stretch big into the Sky and have that be a big part of this team's identity. How do you feel like you fit into that with your part of your game?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Me and Jeff have talked a lot about that, and just my ability to stretch the floor, my ability to be versatile. And so I'm really excited to see my game translate into the league, of matching players' physicality, but also being able to stretch the floor and, create space for the rest of my teammates. I think that's going to be really important and a really, just great transition for me into this league, and, a great way that I can find success.
We'll go to Andy and then Chris.
Hi, Maddie. Hi, Aisha. Andy Diedrich, Honor Daily News. Welcome to Chicago. Maddie, I'll start with you. You're coming off still a great season despite having foot surgery and rehabbing that and everything. Put you in some unfamiliar territory, sitting out of games and actually starting some games off the bench, rather. How have you used that time off and those different experiences positively, and how can you apply it to your game in the pros?
Yeah, absolutely. Up to that point, I had never sat out a game ever. And so having that, to start out a season on the sideline, taking care of what I need to take care of, but also understanding that I'm a leader on this team. I was a captain of the team, and, it was my team. And so being on the sideline, I was trying to figure out how can I be the best teammate as possible. And so I would sit, watch practice, observe my teammates, see what they do. What do you do when you turn the ball over? How do you run back on defense? And how do you kind of react to that? And so just being very observant and seeing how do my teammates react the best, and how can I get the best out of them so that when I'm back on the court with them, I can understand them on a better level. And so, I think I was really able to do that. And then, also just enjoy the process, do not take it for granted, that time to rest and that time to heal mentally, kind of internalize all of the things that I needed to, and, just prepare on every level possible and every angle. So for me, it was definitely a blessing in disguise to be able to rest like that.
All right, thank you. And then
just real quick, here's the deal. Both of these players are going to have an uphill battle ahead, right? They're going to have a very, very uphill battle. Aisha kind of gave a non-answer about her knee. It seems very clear to me that she will miss this entire season. I think it's obvious that she will miss the season, just due to injury. I don't see her actually playing for the Chicago Sky this year. Of course, I see her kind of being like how darn it, Elizabeth Kitley. There we go. That's the name. I see her kind of being like Elizabeth Kitley for the Aces last year, where she was drafted there. They had her rights, but she didn't play for the team last year, right? She did not play for the team last year for the Las Vegas Aces, and so I see this being a similar thing for Aisha. I don't see her playing this year. I see her getting better. I see her just trying her best to rehab and whatnot, because again, she had that season-ending knee injury sort of midway through last season, like in January, I think, and so it's probably not enough time. It's probably not enough time. I think it's one of those things where like she'll be with the team, she'll be rocking out with the team, and similar to the Aces, she won't sign her rookie contract until next year when she actually joins the team. Like if y'all remember, we actually saw Elizabeth Kitley recently sign her rookie contract because again she did not play as her rookie season, so they had her rights and whatnot, and she just worked out with the team, was rehabbing and all that good stuff, and then finally when she got healthy, then she actually has joined the team, and now she's going to be with the team this upcoming season. I do possibly see that being a thing that happens with Aisha, where she's still in the Sky family. The Sky will rock out with her. She will not be on the team because of her injury this year. However, she will join the team next year. That's what I think. Now, we don't exactly know, but that's what I think is going to happen. All right. But we'll see as time goes on. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be a similar thing to what Elizabeth Kitley did with the Aces last year. Now, for Maddie Westbeld, I think it's going to be an uphill battle for her to make the roster, because again, Maddie Westbeld, I don't think has returned back to the Maddie Westbeld before her ankle. Well, I believe it was her ankle, or either her ankle or her foot. Before her injury, I don't think she's totally back. I don't think she's totally back from that. So yeah, she's played and whatnot, but her game has not totally returned, in my opinion, fully back to where it was pre-injury. And so yeah, I do think it's going to be a stretch for Maddie to make this roster. Now, Aisha, I don't think it's a big deal, because for Aisha, I don't actually think she can even play right now. So she's not going to get cut because she's not going to sign her contract until she's actually healthy. And I think it's going to be a very similar thing to Elizabeth Kitley last year. So yeah. All right. So Maddie might get cut. Aisha won't get cut because she's not even healthy enough to play. She was just rehab with the team, and then be ready to go for next season when she will actually sign her contract. That's my thoughts. Now, not a guarantee. That's my thoughts as of right now. Of course, we're still waiting to exactly hear from Tyler and from Jeff on specifically what they're going to do in Aisha's case, because I don't think she's ready to play or healthy. I don't think her knee is not ready to play for sure. So she's likely going to miss the whole season. Likely, but we'll see. Anyway, let's continue on with the press conference.
And Aisha, I'll go to you real quick. These last 2 seasons at A number 2, you're more efficient in terms of scoring and shooting percentage. What have you worked on to make that the case, and how are you planning to also bring that into the pros?
Being a Texas A&M was a blessing for me, and just being around Joni Taylor, they had a vision for me coming in, just having my workouts, like plans and stuff like that. And I just followed the plan and trust and believe. And then, I work on it every single day. I wanted to be more efficient, and we had talked about it, and then being there was a blessing. And when the season came around, I just showed out and do what I have to do and just be there for my team, help the team as much as I can, and just do what I do and not force anything. I just let the game come to me and just stay focused on what I have to do. So that was pretty good for me.
So thank you both.
Thank you.
Hi guys, welcome to Chicago. I'm Chris with Fox Chicago. Manny, really quick to start. One of the big things that one of the strengths of you as a prospect in the WNBA is someone who could do it all, kind of like the dirty player, kind of getting and doing the things to help the stars and help other players shine. What about that role is something that you were able to take and really just kind of making to you something that was your identity?
Yeah, me and Tyler had a great conversation about this, just being able to bring my physicality and really embrace that. I think that is what is going to translate the best into this league. And I think just, it opens up the door and it opens up the floor for everybody else to, have somebody who they can really rely on no matter what, every day, who's going to come in, who's going to do their work, and, ultimately have their back. So I think for me, exploring, what is going to translate, being such a versatile player, what is going to translate, and, what am I going to lay to rest in college? But I'm really excited to kind of challenge the body work that I created and just, embrace what will be translated. So I'm excited.
Just real quick on what she just said there. First thing, I have sped the video up at 1.25 speed. So if it feels like they're talking fast, so Kenny, if it feels like they're talking fast, it's because I have it at 1.25 speed. Now this is way shorter than I normally have it, or way slower. So usually everything I watch is in 2 times speed on a computer, and on my phone, I crank that thing up to 3 times speed. I listen to everything really, really fast, but because we are doing the stream, I have it at 1.25 speed. All right, so if it sounds like they're fast, they're talking fast, is because I have them at 1.25, and that's not even that fast to me, because I listen to everything at like 2 or 3 times speed. Like, does anyone else do that? Like, honestly, even when I'm like looking back at like a previous stream or something like that, I'll listen to myself. I'll listen to myself in 3 times speed. I will listen to myself in 3 times speed, just because I just gotta, like, it's something about the speed of just what's the thing. And even when I watch basketball highlights, not in 3 times speed. No, basketball highlights I'm usually watching in like 1.5 speed for basketball highlights, just because, I don't know, it's just something about it. It is just something about it. Omega says that Hailey Van Lith must talk really slow then. Well, here's the deal. It wasn't until halfway through Hailey's press conference that I changed it to 1.25 speed. So at the beginning of Hailey's press conference, it was at 1. It was regular, like 1 point speed. And then halfway through, sort of towards the end, I turned it to 1.25. All right. Because I was like, because in my head, as I was listening to her talk, I was like, man, this is very slow. And I was like, oh, it's because I didn't turn it. It's because I didn't speed it up. And I know some of y'all would be like, what the heck? I can't hear it if I had it at 2 times speed. So I got it at 1.25. Okay, so that's not that fast. But, Maddie Westbeld, her ability, she has the ability to do more than just be a post player. She can sort of be that stretch 4 type of player. And I think that is like absolutely huge. And it's going to help to give her some longevity in the WNBA. That's if she actually makes the roster for this season. I do think that there's a lot of, there's an ability to be adaptable and to just do a lot of, as it was kind of said in that conversation, like a lot of like the grunt work that her team needs her to do. And again, I saw a whole lot more of it pre-injury than post-injury, but I do think that she is going to rock out. Uncle J.E. says Maddie is not better than Angel. Who is saying Maddie is better than Angel? Like, please, guys, get real. Get real. Like, no. Maddie is not better than Angel. I don't know how anybody could reasonably look at their games, truly, like look at full games of them and say that Maddie's better than Angel. Come on, guys. Let's speak in facts. Let's speak in facts. Let's speak in reality. I know some of y'all are huge fans of Maddie Westbeld. Maddie Westbeld's a really good player. She's nowhere near better than Angel. Like, come on now. Let's be real. Let's be real, guys. Okay? Let's be real. All right? I'm just saying, like, dog. Let's be real. Let's be real. All right? Okay, let's continue on. Even without Maddie's injury, pre-injury, Angel was still better than Maddie. That's just look at their games. All right? Look at their games pre-Maddie Westbeld injury and compare. Just saying. Angel's a better defender. She's a better rebounder. Yes, Maddie Westbeld can knock down mid-range jumpers. She absolutely can. Maddie Westbeld can stretch the floor. But beyond that, I don't. And she is a talent. And, if she makes the Sky roster, I'm looking forward to seeing Maddie Westbeld play. Because I think Maddie Westbeld is a good talent in the WNBA. But I just... Sometimes I feel like people always feel like they have to compare people. And sometimes people just make some outrageous claims. Like, I don't think rational people who actually watch women's basketball, actually watch both of their games, would ever say that Maddie's better than Angel, because she's just not. She's a better shooter. Absolutely. She is. And that's a fact. I think she is a better shooter. But all-around player? No. All right? Okay.
Aisha, we had a chance to ask Jenny Taylor kind of about what makes you such a great player. She said you're a two-way player. That's the one of the best two-way players that she's been around in. What side of the ball do you pride yourself on the most, offensive or defensive?
I would say defensively, because she put that in me. Even going there, I feel like I pride myself a lot on defense, and that's where I get juiced up to play the game. So just getting stopped for the team and just diving for the ball for loose balls and just doing a little thing, I would sacrifice my body. I really don't care. It's just, it's what it takes to play the game. And playing for Joni, she instilled that in me. And before every single game or after every single game, she'll just... Before the game, she would give me the best player every single game, and she challenged me every single day in practice, guarding the best player, the scout team. So I just took pride in it and just, enjoy the moment while I do it. And defensively is where I'm best at, and that's what I expect myself to bring to the league and just help this team.
We'll go Christian, second row on your left.
And there's your defensive player right there. There is your defensive player. Now, of course, she's hurt. She's likely not going to play this year, but that's your defensive future right there. And Aisha Coulibaly. Okay? Yeah. That's your defense. And I would just say this, it is very, very helpful. It is very, very helpful to have players who are used to playing the best player on the opposing team in college, because we know in the WNBA, of course, if you're a good defender in the college, that does not mean you're going to be a good defender in the WNBA. That doesn't mean that. But if you're used to playing the best talent in college, especially for a team like a Texas A&M, who is a squad that played in the SEC, right? So that means she was used to playing against the top dogs like the LSUs and the South Carolinas and whatnot. And so there is something to that, to be someone who has had that challenge night in and night out. Yes, of course, not the same at all to what you're going to face in the WNBA, but there are some sort of things that you can kind of take away. That sort of dog mentality of like, you know what? Nah, give me the best player on the team, and I'm going to try my best to shut them down. I'm going to try my best. Okay? JB says, Coulibaly was so solid before the injury. I wish her a speedy recovery, and hopefully we see her on the court next year. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping. Steady Serving Sports Entertainment says, Quita, they play differently and will add to the team, which we need. What's up, chat? I mean, yeah, I think the players that were drafted, they have very unique skills that they offer the squad. And again, the question is, of course, not everybody's going to be on this roster, right? This guy only has so many roster spots, and we will have a separate stream where we talk about all the teams and who I actually think is going to make the rosters on those teams, okay? Okay. All right, let's continue on. We only got a couple more minutes left of this press conference, and we will move on.
Hi, Maddie, Aisha. Welcome and congratulations on being here. So you guys are both heading into a really tough training camp. There's going to be a lot of players.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay mentally strong and what do you lean on to make sure that you do your best during training camp?
Yeah, I think it all comes from preparation, being confident in what I bring to the table. I think, the only thing that you can control is yourself and, exactly what you can control. So for me, it's just, making sure that I'm in the best shape possible, making sure that, my body feels good, my mind feels good, and, just being as confident as I truly can be and understanding what I bring to the table.
Same question, yes.
Okay. I feel like it's going to be physical, but I feel like whenever it's time, I'm ready to, face the challenge because I'm a very physical player and passionate about the game and just being able to learn from others and at the same time working on myself and just do what I do best and just, continue to work hard and play hard as well.
And then just second question is for both of you. Is there any player in the WNBA that you really model your game after and why?
I think I model my game after, I love Jackie Young's game. She's strong. And defensively, she played both ends of the floor. And I watch a lot of her games and stuff like that. I also like Michaela's game from here at Chicago Sky. I think we play very similar and just, learning from her, coming in, learning from her and just doing the best.
Real quick on Jackie Young, Tyler Marsh worked with Jackie Young quite a bit. I talked about it earlier, but the fact that, hey, she's looking at Jackie Young as someone who she models her game off of, and also Michaela Onyenwere is fantastic. She really is. I thought Michaela Onyenwere had a really great season for the Chicago Sky last year. Earned her way into that starting lineup spot for the squad, and ultimately, she's been rocking out. I think she's probably going to do some mentoring of Aisha and get her. So right when she's actually able to play, get her in the mind frame of hey, you can do this too. You can do this too, and you can rock out. I think that's pretty awesome. But also, here's one thing, nitpicky thing. For those who don't know, they had this press conference at the Sears Tower, aka now the Willis Tower. This was, of course, a far cry from where they had it before. So I know some people are maybe wondering where are they? Where are they? They are at the Willis Tower, really the Sears Tower, because names never actually change in Chicago. Whatever the new name is, we still call it the old name because that's what it's supposed to be. All right, so they were at the Sears Tower, pretty high up there, and they had the backdrops for the Chicago Sky, and they had that awkward light that they probably could not cover. It was probably some sort of code violation or something. It's probably something that they could not put that backdrop in front of that light. I'm pretty sure there had to have been something about that, where they probably asked, "Hey, can we cover this light up?" And they were probably told no. That's what I'm assuming. As someone who has done events and whatnot, sometimes there's some weird rules about no, you cannot cover this because of XYZ, whatever. But yeah, they're at the Sears Tower. Again, huge improvement to what was last year, where Camilla was virtual for her introductory press conference, and we saw Angel have her press conference inside of the Sky's practice gym, which was, it didn't look great. This looks better. This does look better for sure. All right. I think they got several restaurants in the Sears Tower. I've been in the Sears Tower, a bunch of times, but I've never actually been to a restaurant. I would go to random offices in the Sears Tower. I mean, I don't also understand why it's like a very popular place. I don't really understand why it's so popular. I don't get it. Like a lot of tourists go to the Sears Tower. I don't really understand why. They do have like this observation deck thing that's actually pretty cool. But beyond that, I don't get it. Anyway, let's continue on.
I mean, for me, I've always watched Bree Stewart. I've always watched Nafisa, and I think just their ability to be efficient when they catch the ball, their ability to be incredibly decisive when they catch the ball, and just stretching the floor and knowing exactly what they're doing on the floor. I think it's I've always watched them, and I've always just seen myself in that kind of role. So, like Haley was saying, not necessarily copying any player, but trying to be a sponge and see, what is successful and how can I, kind of mold into what a successful player looks like in this league.
Mm-hmm. Move to Carly Bell on Zoom. Please unmute.
Hi, Maddie and Aisha. This is Carly Bell with Courtside with Carly Bell. Welcome to the city of Chicago. First question is going to be for you, Aisha. Obviously, coming into the league is something that provides different challenges for all types of players. And when you play, in the SEC at both Auburn and Texas A&M, you're playing against top 5 talent. What are some things that you have seen in just your career playing in SEC and going against current WNBA players consistently that has given you a lot of confidence heading into training camp and then a possible rookie season with the Sky?
I feel like the SEC is one of the best.
Guys, they had there were a couple mic issues with this one, but again, improvement from last year. But I will say this one thing: it's weird that Aisha and Maddie are sharing a mic when there is another mic right in front of Aisha. I don't get it. I don't understand why they were sharing a mic when clearly there was another mic right there. And no one was like, hey, just use this mic. You don't have to keep swapping mics. I don't know. That was just a weird thing. That I was just like, why isn't anyone either fixing, is something wrong with the mic in front of Aisha? Like, what's going on there? Anyway, it's a random thing. Anyway, let's get to Aisha's answer.
It's very physical, and then you play against the best teams. We got South Carolina, LSU, all those teams. I feel like it's always been a challenge. It was always a good challenge for me, just going in there knowing that I'm playing against ranked teams every single night, and I had to get ready. And I feel like it prepared me a lot, just getting ready for the WNBA and knowing that some of the girls that I played against, and they kill me, but especially Coulibaly and Angel Reese. But just getting a chance to play with them as well is gonna keep me away from getting blocked a lot. So I'm pretty excited for it.
And then Maddie, obviously we know what you can do and from a versatile standpoint, but if we want to focus a little bit offensively, you have the ability to score on 3 levels, but it's also your ability to have that mid-range and 3-point shot, which is something the Sky kind of lacked last year. When you look at your offensive game, especially in that mid-range as a stretch forward, what are some things that you believe that you can contribute offensively to the Sky and under a new head coach?
Yeah, we had talked about just the ability to stretch the floor, the ability to be decisive. I know Chicago really likes the ball screen. We talked about, just being able to play off of that, having a point guard like Courtney and Haley, who is so, ball dominant and able to find, their forwards wherever they need to be. I think my ability to find wherever open spots are and to be able to hit wherever I catch it, I think that's going to be really, really valuable. And I'm excited to get better in that area and get better in every spot that I can catch the ball.
We'll go to Steven and then Alyssa.
Hey, ladies, welcome to Chicago. Stephen Prejean Gardner of CHGO Sports. My first question is going to be for Maddie. So, of course, you spent a lot of time playing in pick and roll at what people call Guard University at Notre Dame. I think what's hidden in that is the screen and the angles that which you all set ball screens with over there that really helps to unlock the guards, but also unlock your spacing ability. Can you just speak to that process and all of the skill development and film watching that goes into understanding screens and understanding how to do it relative to the coverages on ball and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's an art in setting screens. There's an art in, the level that you're at and your ability to get off of screens quickly. Because, ultimately you're setting a screen for the person coming off of it, but also setting yourself up to be open. And so it's definitely an art. And, working on your feet, working on, being available and ready to catch the ball, ready to shoot and attack as quick as you can off the ball screen. And having point guards in Olivia and Hannah, who, they both play at a very different pace coming off ball screens. Hannah is very quick, very kind of immediate in her attack mode. And then Liv is kind of She has different levels to it. And so being able to play with such versatile point guards, such dynamic speeds, I think it'll be really good for me to just be able to be dynamic coming off the ball screen.
Yeah, that is something that that Notre Dame did really well. They did have a lot of ball screens, and I think we can expect a lot of that for the Chicago Sky. Now, I think because of Haley's game, she also worked really well on ball screens, and so like especially like when the second unit comes in and whatnot, when you see like Haley on the court with like the post starters and whatnot, I think we'll see a lot of ball screens, a lot of opportunities to come off that screen and either pop for a mid range jumper or cut straight to the basket and try to get the ball and throw it in. Like there's going to be a lot of ball screens. I think there's going to be a lot of like fast paced offensive action. And there will be some similarities between Notre Dame's game, in my opinion, and offensive game when it flowed well, and Chicago's game for sure.
And then for Aisha, you spent a lot of time at the rim, just being able to get downhill almost whenever you wanted to. I think one of the big things that people look at is the footwork that translates or evolves from the collegiate level to the professional level. Can you speak to your development in that over your collegiate career and where you maybe feel like you are once you're back healthy and ready to implement that on the W level?
Yeah, I got tired of getting blocked every single night. So, and I just used to get, my footwork wasn't the best, just shuffling my feet when I catch the ball because my first move is pretty quick. I just, got in the lab when I went to Texas A&M, just work with the coaches. And that's all I did, pivot work every single night. So I think it helped me a lot along the way, just, having counter moves in the paint and just not getting blocked every single night. So that was pretty good, coming to WNBA, and it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a lot of people that are taller than me. And, I just got to know how to have counter moves and just attack them every single night. I think it'll be pretty good for me just while I recover and just work on what I need to work on, just my pivot work and just knowing how to have counter moves in the paint. So I'm pretty excited for that.
We'll close out with Alyssa on Zoom. Last question.
Hi, guys. Nice to meet you. I was hoping you both could reflect on your college basketball seasons that just finished and tell us what you think your college teammates were most proud of you for this season.
Sometimes it doesn't end the way you hope. So I feel like I had a great time with my teammates and all that. It was amazing. Our season wasn't the best, but we came to practice every day, ready to play no matter what, the wins or losses. Just keep our head up and just take it a day at a time, like one at a time, moving on. And I feel like my teammates are really proud of me, how I led them throughout before anything happened. I led them the right way and I showed them what it takes to win ball games and just being there for them when they needed a shoulder, somebody to talk to, and just practice everything every day, giving my 100% and just telling them it's okay to have a bad day, but you still got to, do what you have to do and just work hard and keep your head up and just keep going.
Any more from Alyssa?
Oh, I was just hoping Maddie could answer too.
Yeah, I think resilience definitely comes to mind. I feel like I had, like 5 different seasons within this past season, just of, surgery, coming back from that, return to play, getting to play, and then all the highs and lows that come with being on the court. And I think for me, just resilience and consistency, coming in every day, regardless of, the high or the low, and just really getting to work and the mentality that I had coming in every single day. And, the work that I put in, I think that I left Notre Dame in a place better than when I found it. And I take a lot of pride in that. And, the leadership that I had to be able to unify the team that we had. We had amazing players on the team, and it was unfortunate the way that it ended. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade the relationships that I had for the world. And, the growth that we had throughout the season individually, but then also, the lessons that we learned. So I think resilience is definitely the word that comes to mind.
Thank you both.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, that is it. That was the press conference that happened earlier today with Aisha Coulibaly, Maddie Westbeld, and Haley Van Lith. I thought this was a fun press conference. I actually really enjoy hearing what they got to say and just sort of reacting to it. So like, if y'all want more of this, let me know. I think I wanted to do this because I'm a Sky fan, and of course I cover the Chicago Sky, so I got to make sure that like I'm covering it. And unfortunately, guys, I was not able to actually go to this press conference. I gotta get some press credentials for the Chicago Sky so that I get notified when stuff like this happens. I wouldn't have been able to take off, but like maybe in the future I'll be able to take off if they have a press conference or something like that I can make it at. So fingers crossed that I'll be able to do that sometime in the future as we continue to try to elevate whatever this thing is that we're doing on this channel. So again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Make sure to hit that like button on y'all way out. Guys, I will see y'all tomorrow. I mean, I think she was a little nervous. Aisha was a little nervous, you know, and it's understandable, right? You are, you know, making your debut in front of a new fan base, you know, in a legendary city. Like, I could understand the nerves for sure. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully this was interesting for y'all. Hopefully this was entertaining. I will see y'all tomorrow morning. For another edition of Quita in the Mornings. And sometimes we're gonna come live. Sometimes if I can do it, I will be live in the evening or afternoon. In the evening for, you know, a live if there's something pressing I want to talk about in the moment, and so I want to talk about this. So again, thank y'all for rocking with me. If y'all could, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. If y'all want to get some merch at QLSapparel.com. Shout out to Kentucky Rick for putting that in the chat. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow morning. Until next time. What did I say? I just blended it all together. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.